Tim Pool talked about this new cover for Jacobin magazine. They came out with a new issue. It has a new cover. And listen, this thing kind of went viral. It blew up for a number of reasons. But apparently in this clip that you're about to see, he went on for over 20 minutes with his guest. Let's watch and then I'll tell you the problem.
And we'll talk about Joe Biden being president and this glorious image from Jacobin magazine. Now, I'll tell you what I find particularly fascinating about this is Jacobin is like socialist, like their DSA. There's like communism. They get their name from the French Revolution, and they've put a cover out, and it's Joe Biden as Jesus with the sun behind his head, literally imagery of Jesus, and there are people below him like looking up and cheering and worshiping him, and there's angels filming and interviewing him. What are these people thinking?
Stop with this obsession with putting people above yourself and putting all of their responsibilities and all your failures and all your hopes into one person and take some gosh darn personal responsibility for yourself.
But when you have a media ecosystem that is acting like Joe Biden is literally Jesus, then I don't see how we actually solve problems. Just to clarify my point, Joe Biden could do really horrible things and they don't care. But it's funny because they say the same thing about, Donald Trump. Yeah. This is people worshiping Jesus Biden who hasn't done anything. No. What did he do?
He defeated the devil. Reid up against the wall.
Yeah, he defeated the devil. There you go. The evil Trump.
Yep.
Tim. What are we going to do with you, man? What are we going to do with you? It was satire. The magazine cover is satire. So, in other words, Jacobin is making the exact same point that Tim Pool is making there. The point that Jacobin is making is like corporate media, mainstream media, establishment Democrats, they have this fawning love and adoration for Joe Biden, and he's done dick. And where adversarial to Joe Biden, we have a different ideology and belief system than Joe Biden, and so we're mocking the idea that the people who are supposed to be holding him accountable are like heaping fawning praise on him. We're mocking the idea, you see the other Democratic figures like bowing at his knees or whatever, we're mocking the idea that he's any sort of real solution. I mean, in the frickin' magazine cover, if you look near the top of it, there are drones. There are drones there. So it's like, the juxtaposition of like you're heaping all this praise on him and he's going to continue this illegal and unconstitutional drone program, which is killing massive numbers of innocent civilians. So, I mean, listen, I think the thing that's most surprising to me, because we all make mistakes, we all misinterpret things from time to time. I've definitely done it before, but there was a number of people in that room. There were like 4 or 5 people in that room, right? Not one of them was like, maybe this is satire. And I get it, man. When you watch CNN, they actually are heaping fawning praise as just as bad. With the whole like, the lights look like Joe Biden's arms outstretched to give the American people a warm hug. You had somebody on MSNBC compare his speech to Lincoln's address. You have people who said Bush and Obama and Biden all together. It's like the Avengers are coming to save the day. Yes. So listen, maybe that's why it was so hard for some people to realize this, but yeah, mainstream media, corporate Democrats, corporate media, they're gonna suck off Biden in the same way that Fox News and now One America News Network and Newsmax sucked off Trump. And so it is gross, and that does exist. The dynamic exists, but again, when you talk about Jacobin, you have to understand that there's quite a difference between leftists and corporate Democrats, or leftists and even liberals. You have to understand that, especially if, you comment on politics for a living, and that's what Tim Pool does. So, there were drones in the magazine cover, man. Obviously, the thing was satire. There's even some people on the left who saw it and didn't realize it was satire. It's very clearly satire. So people need to internalize this very basic point. There are those of us on the left who are very, very critical of Joe Biden and are going to try to hold him accountable in accordance with our own ideology and our own principles and our own beliefs. But funny enough, the accusation is also an accusation that, listen, a lot of people on the right did this sort of silliness with Trump. Like, there was a pretty strong contingent of the right that no matter what Trump said, no matter what Trump did, no matter how hypocritical he was, no matter if he contradicted old school conservative ideology that people previously believed in, they would go hand in hand with him and they would defend Daddy Trump in such a sycophantic way. And again, perhaps the worst example of this was when it was very obvious and very clear that not only did Joe Biden win, but every attempt to say he didn't and try to prove it in court backfired spectacularly because Biden actually did win. And you still had people who were like, no, Trump says it's not over yet, so I don't think it's over yet. One American News and Newsmax are telling me there's still a chance, even though the Electoral College already certified the Biden win. Already did it. But there was still a strong contingent of the right that was that sycophantic to Trump. So in some ways, you could say there's projection here. That like, no, that mindset of the base of the right always falling in line for Trump, it's actually quite the opposite for the left base. The left base is going to be the quickest to criticize Biden. It's going to be the corporate Democrats who are sycophantic who always fall in line. But the actual left base will be the most critical of Joe Biden. And that's a point that Tim Pool and everybody involved in politics needs to digest. Because it's the truth. That's the way it works. The right-wing base is most defined by being sycophantic to Trump. And that's why they want these new networks like One American News Network and Newsmax to exist. It's ideology-free. It's totally vapid. It's just defend Daddy more. Let's love our authoritarian leader. Whereas the left base, as you're going to find out, as you're already finding out, no, we are the most critical of Joe Biden, as that Jacobin cover lays out. They're making the exact point that Tim Pool's making. Like, he didn't even do anything yet. Right! That's the point! So stop heaping the fawning praise on him. Anyway, Rational National had a great title for his video on this. It's something along the lines of, satirical cover flies right over Tim Pool's beanie. Indeed, good sir, indeed.